everybody, my name is Star Raptor and welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the comics that came out for December 8th, 2021, of course, for Star Wars comics. For Marvel specifically, we're going to be talking about two offerings, both brought to us by prolific Star Wars writer Charles Soule. And both of these are big ones. So getting into the first one here, we have Star Wars issue number 19. And this one here is finally another Luke Skywalker journey, adventure tale, whatever have you. And this has Luke Skywalker following the events of what happens during War of the Bounty Hunters. He knows that he is not quite up to speed to fight Vader yet, so he's able to kind of put the rebellion on hold and go out and searching for more evidence and more information on how he can become a Jedi Knight. So R2 apparently has the database of certain Jedi temples and whatnot. So Luke, he goes to Ilum and he finds out that Ilum has been half, destroyed, and it's going to eventually be Starkiller Base. That was a really cool tie into like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Then he also goes to Lothal, and apparently the Jedi Temple has been buried, as we see what happens in Star Wars Rebels. And he finally ends up to the location of this planet that we see in Charles Soule's other run, which was from Darth Vader, the second run of Darth Vader. And he learns all about this character named Qi'ra and Fallow, which is the first Jedi that Vader hunted down after he became Vader with the suit and during Order 66. So it's a really cool story that interweaves Soule's other works in the Star Wars universe. And he finds out, Luke Skywalker finds out all about Qi'ra and Phila, who helped these people, this family, these mechanics get out of there safely. And basically Luke goes to the mountaintop where they have these Imperial holdouts that are holding, hostage all the different archaeology finds for the different people there. And Luke Skywalker is able to successfully get a Jedi mind trick down and get these stormtroopers to bring him something that's very unique. And that happens to be a Jedi Holocron that is none other than Yoda's. Yeah, so Yoda has a Holocron teaching students during the prequel era that Luke now possesses. So now Luke is going to get more instruction from Yoda, even though he's not in person with Yoda. So there you go. That was basically what happens in Star Wars issue number 19. And I'm just so happy to see another Luke tale. And it was a really cool thing to see Luke kind of trying to do the Jedi mind trick earlier in the issue and finally kind of letting himself go and letting the Force flow through him and able to do it that second time. And I just can't wait for more with Luke and seeing how the rebellion is, kind of getting back together slowly, but there's a little bit of a lull. So Luke is able to go out there and find what's going on there. But the big thing, the big headliner for this week in Star Wars comics is Star Wars Crimson Reign issue number 1. So this is a standard cover. And sometimes I go ahead and I'll splurge the variant cover for an issue number 1, usually for a miniseries or something. So I thought that was pretty cool, having one of the Knights of Ren on the cover there, bathed in red. So this exactly follows the events of War of the Bounty Hunters. This is part 2 of this Qi'ra story that Soule is writing. He also has the Hidden Empire, which is going to follow this miniseries sometime next year, apparently. This is all setting up what Crimson Dawn's plan is. With Qi'ra at the head, she's able to bring these disparate groups of survivors together, from the Knights of Ren to the orphans with Cheneth Che, to Deathstick, to Ochi of Bestoon, to this person called the Archivist. There's lots of different players that are involved with the Crimson Dawn that are going to help Qi'ra solidify her power in the galaxy following the death of Darth Maul. Now she is the leader. So she is able to communicate to these people why exactly they are all working together. So she tells them about the Sith and about how, life in the galaxy should be like mountaintops. There's valleys and there's different peaks, and everybody is able to get big, give a chance basically to get to the top. Whereas right now the power structure is you have the Emperor at the top, and it's more like a pyramid. Like there's only one point where somebody has all the power. So she's trying to topple that, and she lets them know that yes, she knows that Palpatine is actually a Sith, and he's actually Darth Sidious, and he has an apprentice named Darth Vader. So that's not public knowledge. Remember, this is in between the events of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So people just think that Palpatine at this point is just kind of just a little old guy that's, being the Emperor. They don't know he's actually a freaking Sith Lord who have been thought to be extinct for literally a millennium, according to Mace Windu. So very cool stuff there. And we get to understand that Qi'ra we get to see a little snippet of her working with Maul, and Maul's ultimate plan was to get revenge on his master. So he was like hoarding up all these different technologies and different things like that, relics and whatnot. So Qi'ra's still involved with that. So this issue number 1 of 5, is really kind of that opening salvo of Crimson Dawn going out there. And you see in this issue, which is really cool, the way that Charles Soule kind of breaks it down, different panels, different characters like Margot, and the character of Qi'ra obviously going to these different criminal organizations and explaining what Crimson Dawn's role is. And Crimson Dawn's role in the galaxy is to kind of be like the middleman, but making all the money. So Crimson Dawn, Qi'ra wants them to remain small and nimble. So they are going to be the ones that will do jobs like assassinations and stuff. They'll, work with Black Sun or the Pikes or, Papa Torin and all these other kind of criminal syndicates in this time frame to kind of help these guys out. And at this moment, remember, in War of the Bounty Hunters, a big event that happened was the Hutt Council had been destroyed by Vader. So there's this big power struggle, and the Hutts were what the Empire worked with the most as far as the criminal underworld. The Hutts were able to do things that the Empire really couldn't because they had eyes watching them. So that's what they let the Hutts do their dirty work. So apparently word is going on the street that the Empire is not happy with the Hutts and they're going to get rid of them. So Qi'ra is sort of positioning these different groups against one another to ultimately have them destroyed. And she is doing that with the characters of the Orphans, which are fronted by this character named Chenath Cha, who was part of Charles Soule's first run and crack at the Star Wars comics, which was in Lando. So it's pretty cool that he brought this character back from literally 5 or 6 years ago into this comic series. And it's her, the Orphans, and you have this one character named Amara Vex, who's going to be in the Star Wars the fighting game coming out for mobile, Star Wars Hunters. So that's one of the characters you can play as. So you have Amara Vex, you have this droid named Bright, you have this character named, I believe, Sears. So a lot of cool, memorable characters already in this little female squad, which I really enjoyed. And they go down to this one processing plant for the Black Sun and completely destroy it and leave no survivors. So the Black Sun just assume that everybody could have been involved. So then they start sending out everybody to take other people out. And what happens is the Orphans are sent out by Crimson Dawn leader Qi'ra to basically destabilize the entire organizations of every criminal ring in the galaxy. So it's causing and dismay, and they're all basically killing each other while the Crimson Dawn are just kind of hanging back and be like, hey, we're going to wait to see who kills everybody else until we're the last man standing, sort of thing. So it's a really brilliant move by Qi'ra to do that. There's also other teams, like I said, the Knights of Ren, fronted by Ren. Yes, the same Ren that Charles Soule introduced to us in the Rise of Kylo Ren miniseries with Kylo Ren. This guy's back, 30 years beforehand as a young lad, and their mission, fronted by Qi'ra, is to go to Fortress Vader and get a very unique artifact that we do not know. So that's a really cool story there. And then you have Ochia Bestoon as well as the character of Deathstick, who have to go in, I guess, behind Imperial lines and take somebody out. We're not sure who that is. So you have lots of different things. You have this archivist person who is a new character in Star Wars, and she's going to look up stuff about Jedi Knights, because the Jedi Knights were always, those enemies of the Sith, which they might be able to use the surviving Jedi to survive Order 66 against the characters of the Sith with Palpatine and Vader. So a lot of moving pieces, and it's really cool because I forgot to mention the way that the story opens with issue number 1 is it's being told from like a hologram format from way into the future, because this is after the fall. And we have a narrator for some of these events, and that is the archivist, is sort of the narrator from a hologram perspective, or holocron, whatever you want to say. But I think it's really cool because there's a lot of foreshadowing. Like, this story, she literally says, this story is about the fall of the Crimson Dawn. Like, how far in the future are the Crimson Dawn going to exist? We don't really know. Are they going to survive, post Return of the Jedi? Completely speculate that they're going to appear in the Book of Boba Fett. I think it's just, continuity, everything's going to line up where that's going to happen. But the one thing that I'm super excited about, and of course I talk about these assuming you guys have read them, so big spoiler alert here. If you do not want to know a Legends character returning, then maybe just stop watching the video and thanks for watching. But 3, 2, 1 spoiler, Prince Zezor got name dropped. That's right, Prince Zezor from Shadows of the Empire, that crazy, creepy, fouling character with the ponytail, is back in Star Wars. At least we've heard of him. So he is canon now. It's mentioned that Qi'ra, when she's, negotiating with Lord Guti of the Black Sun Crime Syndicate, which I love seeing that guy, by the way, because he was first introduced in the Aftermath trilogy of novels. But we get to see this guy, and apparently his boss, we thought he was the one that was in charge of the Black Sun, but Qi'ra mentioned, pass this message along to your boss, Prince Zezor, or something to that effect. So it's like, and then his name came up again a couple pages later with, when their processing plant got destroyed, Lord Goati's like, oh no, like Prince Zezor is not going to be happy about this. Like, this is what he was trying to get up off the ground. Like, oh my gosh, like the ramifications of having Prince Zezor involved. I mean, it makes perfect sense. You're dealing with a story that is dealing with the same time frame in Legends that the Shadows of the Empire series is doing with the books and the game and the comic books. So I'm just so happy to see this happening. Whether or not we'll see him in this series, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to see him eventually. But if it's not in a comic book form, again, another bold speculation here, I'm thinking he might show up in Book of Boba Fett, because if you have Boba Fett there trying to unite the crime syndicates, of course Black Sun's going to want a piece of that pie. And who would be leading Black Sun? Of course they're going to want to show the fouling leader himself, Prince Zezor, in live action. And maybe they'll throw Dash Rendar in there for good measure anyway, since they're already going this far into the Shadows of the Empire nostalgia. But super excited about that. But overall, just very, very impressed by this issue of Crimson Reign #1. This felt like an epic piece of Star Wars literature that is going to be basically mandatory reading. I feel like this series is so resounding for the entire Star Wars galaxy. What's going on here with the Imperials and the Underworld and Crimson Dawn and all these different connections. It's going to be pretty much essential reading. This is going to be up there with, that Charles Soule's run of Darth Vader. Hopefully, for people that are wanting to know what's going on with Star Wars, this is going to be something really cool, especially if it connects to something like the live action Book of Boba Fett. So what did you guys think about these great comics that came out this week? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. For more on Star Wars, you're already in the right place. You can subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell icon, as well as hit that like symbol, so that way it helps the algorithm, possibly, so more of you guys can watch this. As far as podcast form, I have Outer Rim Transmission. We go live every Friday at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, available to download on all your podcast streaming or downloading services. That is going to do it for me, Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at StarRaptor.